Warning: this program may contain visuals that might offend sensitive viewers. Parental guidance is advised.
This is an SABC News presentation.
A city so beautiful, it was named Mother. She lies at the foot of Table Mountain, a world-class holiday destination. Cape Town is said to be best when it comes to delivering services to her residents.
If this was a rich man, he would never have moved into Blikkiesdorp.
I have nowhere to go with my daughter.
Ndifuna ukonwaba nexhego lam afumane indlu yakhe. Basiqhathile.
When the city of Cape Town approached the community living of Frankendale disposal site, it wasn't out of the goodness of their heart. Operations there needed to be extended. 23 kilometers north of the mother city, this small community of about 286 families continued to etch out a living by picking food and scrap from Frankendale dumping site, which they nicknamed Scandal Camp. And in a rare display of efficiency, the city managed to move the entire community of Scandal Camp in a matter of 3 days.
Esisuka eScandal Camp. Ndihlala nabantwana bam aba11. Abantwana bam bendineminyaka emine. Kuloo bendinayo forum. Ngoku ke xa siphayena sazokukhelwa le ndawo ngumasipala kuba besithi bafuna la ndawo yaseScandal Camp. Umntana omdala una 31. Kuyise wapha. Kuze lo una 27. Kuze omnye ona 25. Qibelo na 23. Aziwe ngaba apha una 20 una 14. Una 13. Ibe ngabazukulwana ke. Lo umntana ngalo lo ubhuti wakhe ngilo ndithi yodlala. Unomfazi wakhe. Yabo banabantwana babo. Masilele kule ndlu yami le. Sithathe amatrasa sibabeke pha etoilet. Silale
A turf war has broken out between committee members recognized by the city of Cape Town and the residents they were supposed to represent.
Isuka yathi la committee ka ithetha ke ngoyathi iyandibona ingathi mna ndibhadle kakhulu mna ngoba yonke into ndiyayiphanda ndithi mina ndifanele ngoba lo ndineminyaka isixhenxe ngihlala kwesa Scandal Camp andifiki kwesa Scandal Camp ndafika ndanomzi wam ongowam ewawulingana abantwana bam ndabe ndithumela mna ngabe sitsho ndithi mina unyanisile ndibhadlile ngoba kaloku ndiyayazi inhlungu esendlini yam njengoba yena eyedwa ehlala yedwa kweyakhe indlu abakhe abantwana bezihlalela imizi yabo.
Umam Swebe and other residents had had enough of waiting for the city to allocate houses to their children. They were now going to take matters into their own hands.
Uthele branch ngosize apho uthe abantwana bethu uzabehlula umuntu ngamnye xa sekugqitya ufakwa zonke izinto besizibhala phansi. Ngoko ngoba bazafumana izindlu zabo umuntu ngamnye. Akhange kwenzeke kanjalo. Ezi zindlu zalapha ziyi 389 kwathi zakwenziwa 489 ukuba kongezelwa abantwana bethu kuba sinabantwana abaningi. Uyaqonda thina phango sasibhala kwamasipala sasiyi 389 ngoku kongezwa le 489 ngokwenza izindlu bakho usitokwenzelwa abantu. Ukhona abantu abasuka komadanuna abasuka phi abangeniswa zezikomiti zalapha. Kodwa ezi zindlu ayizozabo ngomvulo lo simgcibileyo ngoku. Abahlali ke ngokubasuka ngelaxesha bathi uyazivula yini izindlu ezi zindlu bekuthiwa zibekelwe. Ngathi ke mna ke masizivuleni zonke kuvulwe kunye nezi zibekuthiwa zenziwe ikrishi ngoba ezi zindlu zezabahlali ayizo zasekrishi. Sizithathe ngenkani izindlu zizwezi njengoba nasizibona zinjena. Yabona ezi zindlu futhi abantwana bethu batshayela kwisiteki kunye nezecurity zijikele zapha. Sitheka sizivulayo sabona phezulu apha ezirufini kufakwe iteki. Uyayibona ubungozi buphi okuphi okungcono uba ezindlu mazihlala abantu noba masiphele ezibenje.
Michaela Dick is one of many former shack owners who claim to have not been allocated a house during the hurried move.
The time when they registered us, they didn't get me in the house. There was arguments about the number, and then they scratched it. They said I can't get it out.
So, but now they broke down your old home. So what were they expecting you to do?
I don't know, because I did ask that lady who scratched my number, ask her what happened now. So can you give me another house, because where must I go with my daughter? She said there's no more empty houses for us. It's like when we moved. And the time we moved, we see this. Every time when they ask us, the people from city, when I'm going to get my house, they said every time, the lady write my name down in a book. She said, don't worry, we'll get your house. Every time they tell me when new people is moving in, the other people from Bografir and Takot and Transport is moving in, I will get my house. I was waiting. Since now I'm still waiting for my house, so I have nothing to do. What must I do? I don't have my own place now.
Can you show me inside the house?
I want to it. I didn't even yet move in my stuff because I don't have stuff at the moment right now, because I'm staying with my boyfriend and his uncle. So I don't have my own stuff, I'm not working, I'm unemployed. So I don't have even a bag of myself, so I'm still struggling. I'm waiting for stuff to get. I already asked someone to help me with stuff for my house to come and bring for me. So I'm just using that sponge blanket to sleep under it, and that's what I'm using for. And I'm putting, there's no windows, even windows, I'm putting the sky box and stuff like that. That's how we love now.
She's adamant she's going to build a home for her and her daughter, and that nothing is going to stand in her way.
Come dear Mama, what did you do today, Krish? Sing? What did you sing today? I'm ready and I'm waiting for the city to come and put me out here now. I want them to see I am going to take this place in my own responsibility, because I have nowhere to go with my daughter. Now I'm ready for them to come and chase me away from this house, to take me out, because I'm going to show them I'm not going to move from here to somewhere else. If they're going to move me from here, I'm going to build my own hockey somewhere. It's open fields, I'm going to do it. So long as I'm going to have a place to stay with me, for me and my daughter to stay. So I'm waiting now for city, I'm ready for them.
Housing units in Volva-Riviera open plan, making privacy a scarce and unattainable luxury for many.
Ngoku apha kule sihlala siba yi7. Ndinabantwana babini apha. Umntana wam alulo swephe usiyamthanda mntana. So ndabona ke ukuba mandizozivulela lendlu u479 kuba kungekho ndawo endlini. Xa sithi xa silele yonke into kufuneka imuvili iye ngasesinkini ngoba lo sifuneka sihla sibeke phantsi idrass. Akukho ndawo. Ndingomnye obalwa kwezi zindlu ngoba kaloku ndimthathile u480. Kodwa ndingaphandle kuye ndixakwa kumvula ngoba kaloku bathi bazandibambisa ngomvula kukho izinto ezingaphakathi efridge.
Umthathe kanjani wena ma? U480 umthathe kanjani?
Ndimthathe ngesizathu soba kufakwe abantu endandishiyeke nabo ngaphandle phasi shuwa nje and sashiywa nje ehlathini.
Mna ndisuke ndihlala nomama notata nobhuti nabantwana babini ndihlala nabo. Sathuthwa seza apha eVolga Plus. Xa sifika apho kwathi zawunikwa indlu ndiye kuhlala nomama notata. Ngoku ndingame ndothutha ndohlalisana ngoba kaloku andibahlala nomama notata endlini nobhuti nabantwana. Ngame ndathutha ndohlalisana. So irhexe ngoku iyandigxotha ndingame ndazovula indlu nam kuhlala nabantwana bam.
So uyithathe ngenkani.
Ndithathe ngenkani and andiphumi kule ndlu. City of Cape Town mabamba makathina andiphumi noba ngandibambisa nowhere.
One wonders how such a big miscommunication could have happened between the city and the residents.
Basikhathile. Yabo basikhathile yiyo lento ngoku sithathe amanyathelo mama mthwa yiyo lento ngosesabona hayibo make kuze nani ngoku ke nizoyibona lento yothi bihamba kanjani.
With the vast experience SABC News have, we are able to gather news and when it happens locally and abroad.
Inflation will be lower this year. Food price inflation more specifically could decline.
Current chairperson Dr. Nkosazana Lamini Zuma is not vying for a second term. 5 candidates are eyeing her seat.
The idea of having more countries seems specifically tailored to appeal to the African, Asian and Caribbean confederations who have been underrepresented at World Cups.
Ronaldo lifted the UEFA Champions League before captaining his country to a first international trophy at Euro 2016.
To be informed all the time, stay tuned to News Today, Monday to Friday at 3 p.m.
Not that Blikkiesdorp is a dumping ground for the poor people of Cape Town. It's just made up of communities that have been displaced in one way or the other from one of the world's most beautiful cities. Since its opening, Blikkies has been bursting at the seams as the population of Cape Town's poor and unwanted increases as a result of evictions, xenophobic attacks, and relocation attempts by the city of Cape Town.
Pavement developers did get a second eviction, and we're going to the High Court, and we lost the case because why? It's on the road, and what the judge did said it's like it's not suitable for people to live like that. He did come out to see where are we living, and he also coming to Blikkiesdorp to see the place. And then he said in the court it's not suitable for people to stay like that on the pavement. But he didn't, right, the eviction was there, but he didn't settle it in court. What he said, we must go out and negotiate with the city. What we want or how long are we going to stay here, all of that. Then we negotiate with the city. I will say meaningful engagement because my dad's meaningful engagement when the two parties comes together. And then we give us our demands. We want electricity, we want the toilet, we want the playground for the kids to play, we need the park and all of that. And now we're staying here 7 years, after 7 years. Because why 7 years? It means they said it's a temporary allocation, but this is not temporary.
Auntie Jane isn't only the chairperson of the Blikkiesdorp Joint Committee, but is also a unifying matriarch in this broken society.
People are worried. But people want to come out of Blikkiesdorp because of the high crime. People say they don't want to live anymore here.
Jerome Daniels, who is also a member of the Blikkiesdorp Joint Committee, doubts that rich people would be treated in such a manner.
They are actually busy taking people, and then especially the poor. And the poor must always come last in this thing. Or they don't have, for me, I feel that we don't have a say in where we're going to stay. If this was a rich man, he would never have moved into Blikkiesdorp.
Jerome believes the solution to the city's housing crisis lies in empowering poor communities.
We as communities must start building our own houses. And that is my solution. Give the people skills so that in future they have also skills. But my thing is, let us start with community projects where we can build our own houses.
According to Jerome, Blikkiesdorp is something that should never happen again.
They are thinking that this is alternative. This is alternative to housing. This is alternative to getting the poor out of this rich man's areas. You know what I'm saying? And it for me, it's not on. It's rather you build a person a decent, adequate house than to let people live in this temporary relocation area.
Auntie Jane feels the residents of Blikkies have been left alone to fend for themselves.
The emergency service don't come in. We don't even have a police van. You know, we're having a meeting. We asked for a satellite to put up in Blikkiesdorp. They call us again to the police station for the satellite. And the outcome it was, they can't put a satellite in Blikkiesdorp.
Because?
Because why it didn't approve for Blikkiesdorp. In my opinion, it's like if I walk in Randebus, there's a satellite.
Life in so-called temporary reallocation areas is typified by poverty, crime, and uncertainty. The residents of Blikkies face another possible reallocation.
So we have this meeting with the community. We told the community this is what's going to happen about those two lands. And they was very upset and they was listening to us. From the 3,000 houses, it means Blikkiesdorp going to get 1,000, Freedom Farm 1,000, and Malawi get 1,000. And then the people said, and we told them, and you know, that 3,000 houses, it's only for people who's on the database. They will move. What's going to happen to the other people? We don't have answers. Living close to the runaway and people doesn't move. At the moment now, the noise zone, it's like 55. And if they build a new runaway, it's under boundary. We are on the boundary. And if they're going to build a new runaway, it means more noise. The noise levels going up. And if the noise level going up is going to be 65, and if that noise level it's so high, it's going to affect your ears, whatever.
Residents doubt that the city has been totally transparent and open in their negotiations with them.
I don't think so. Because why? We in negotiation, we're having meeting with AXA, and AXA is very proud of the joint committee. They said it's the first time they didn't know about us because why the city never told them about this.
Sufficient and healthy sanitation continues to evade poor people here.
They don't think about our health, so we must think about our own health. I'm going to take you to 4 families to use 1 toilet and 1 tap. Right, so here was a toilet here that I moved to the neighbor because then I built my own toilet and the neighbor built their own toilet. So that was the city's plan for people to use 1.
How humane is that?
That is not humane because at the end of the day you get in one house you get about 7 to 8 people, and if you take 4 structures out of that, it's sometimes 20 people that must use 1 toilet. right, and one tap.
A presumed U.S. drone strike in the south of the country has killed 3 Al-Qaeda suspects.
Death toll in Yemen's 18-month-old civil war now stands at about 10,000.
People get killed or die and are actually buried before they're recorded, and we don't have a way of recording that, but we know the numbers are much higher.
Water restrictions are to be imposed on villages in and around the Nkomazi municipality.
Pumps can't pump the water because there's no water in a river, and if the water is coming back, then it's full of mud.
Those who can pray and those who can do any miracle to make sure that we've got enough rain, give it a try.
Water-wise, water is an essential need. The scarcity of it could lead to loss of many lives, including livestock, plants, and much more. It requires us to use it sparingly and responsibly in times of need, failing which our taps and sanitation will not function. For more on water and weather issues, stay tuned to News Today, every Friday at 4:45 Central African Time. SABC News, making you water-wise.
Africans are coming up with innovative tech solutions to solve their challenges.
We developed mobile apps that gamify the learning.
On Network, we have information about Africa's technology and social media landscape.
First rate, I think there was less than maybe 2,000 visitors, and now this year we're expecting around 35,000 visitors.
We also tell you about apps celebrities are using.
My favorite piece of technology right now, I would say it's M-Pesa.
That's Network with Ms. Pumelele Zondi every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Central African Time.
In recent months, the land question has taken center stage in debates taking place in different platforms around the country.
The black parties on this issue should unite because we need 2/3 majority to effect changes in the constitution.
Today, the ANC should come with the EFF. There is 6% available. We give it to you without no condition to amend the constitution and take the land. If you don't agree with us today, it means you are disagreeing with Honorable Ayanda Dlodlo. If we don't agree with us today, it means you don't agree with your outgoing president on the issue of expropriation of land without compensation.
Please, stop blaming the white people for everything that goes wrong. It is the incompetencies of the governing party that cannot ensure that there's enough land expropriation or land reform in South Africa.
The City of Cape Town's Department of Human Settlement gave us the runaround when we requested a sit-down with them, and we couldn't agree on a time nor a place. Cutting Edge was fortunate enough to secure the insight of advocacy group Ndefunugwazi.
The sustainability or the sustaining part of the racial segregation that we see in Cape Town, that the same spatial planning, apartheid, is being sustained now. Building someone of Zinyawo or an RTP house in Kailicha, you're actually placing that person permanently away from the city. And what we're doing as we reclaim the city, we want to open up opportunities for black and colored people, more importantly, the low-income earners, to be able to benefit staying in the city.
Vulva Rivier is isolated and has moved residents away from economic activity.
There's nothing. No shopping mall, no nothing. There's like imithi emile nehlathi nje elivulekileyo up until you get to Vulva Rivier, and then as soon as you get to R204, which is the old Mamre Road, even the quality of indlela ekhona is not a good quality. That shake indlela khona nama potholes all the way. I mean, if you've been to Voverivier, you'll know what I'm talking about. You like bumping all the way till you reach Voverivier. As soon as you get there, it's like a fenced community. And the pavement is nice and it's actually smooth. But as soon as you get inside the community, everything changes. Everything changes. And the problem with that is there is a document that is called the Environment Impact Assessment, which is a document that was coming from the provincial government to actually say if the city of Cape Town relocates Ababantu to this new community, this is what they should have in place. You should be doing this and this and that, and this is the quality of the house that you should have. And there were promises that were made to residents before the relocation process that if you go to Voverivier, we'll build you houses, and we know that the shacks where you're staying in now are very big, and the structures that will build for you are slightly smaller than the houses that you have now.
Just how temporary is temporary?
It doesn't make sense why babies is now working on temporary relocation areas. I understand the relocation areas, but the term that I don't understand is the temporary. Because in Cape Town we know that informal settlements have existed for more than decades and for more decades. And still, our informal settlements are regarded temporary. And still, Nezindawo, Blikkiesdorp, temporary relocation areas, TRAs are Cape Town, Blikkiesdorp, Voverivier. Blikkiesdorp has existed for more than 2 years. The question of what is temporary and what is permanent is in place as well. In the inner city, you'd find predominantly white people abahlala khona ngaphakathi. And if you are to travel towards Somerset, that's the south of Cape Town, if I'm not mistaken. If you travel from a town and then the first 10 k's, you meet area to colored areas. Those are the Athlons, those Manenpegs, and the areas that's corner along the N2. But if you travel 35 k's away from town, or 30 k's away from town, you'd find the areas that were known as native yards areas, where you find Omakukuleto Manyanga Kwalanga. And if you travel 35 k's away, you get to be around Omakailicha and Nezinyinging. So that is a problem because that is the apartheid setting of Cape Town. And it's now 22 years after we see apartheid. And then now there's nothing in the city of Cape Town. And together with the provincial government to make sure that Abantu, there's a plan to redress the apartheid and undo the legacy of apartheid and not sustain it because by building RTP houses far from the city, it basically means you're permanently putting Abantu far from the city.
Brought to you by SABC News, Africa's news leader.